Well, we've gone a little bit over 14 days to flatten the curve like our government officials have asked us to, but it looks like the mass propaganda outlets are hanging on by a thread and still trying their damnedest to be relevant.
Do you know what time it is?
It's time to get into it, and I'm sure by now all of us Canadians are used to demoralization being used as a powerful weapon of warfare against us to sow seeds of doubt and anxiety amongst each other. We are no stranger to hit pieces being written against us for having opposing views or wanting to make our own personal medical decisions in life without having them forced onto us. Out of all of the main news outlets in Canada, there's been no one who's been quite as harsh on Canadians who are anti-vaxxers as Torstar Media. On Thursday, August 26, 2021, Torstar Media was trying to guilt people into getting the jab because people were no longer complying. They put out a front page article in the paper that read as follows: if an unvaccinated person catches it from someone who is vaccinated, boo-hoo, too bad. I have no empathy left for the willfully unvaccinated. Let them DIE. I honestly don't care if they DIE from COVID. Not even a little bit. Unvaccinated patients do not deserve ICU beds at this time. Now, what an insane thing to say to people. I remember the first time I read this article and how upset I was. You know, all of us are tax-paying Canadians who pay for the healthcare we have in this country. And let's be real, if the jab works for you, then why do people around you need to get the jab? It made no sense at all. Right, now we'll fast forward. 2 years later, December 7th, 2023, we got Bob Heerburn from yours truly, Torstar Media, with the banging headline, "Why the Anti-Jab Movement is Still on the Rise. I've given up on the notion that facts will change an anti-jabber's mind." Sitting in a position of civil unrest, protest erupting, because this country is an absolute dumpster fire right now. The last thing people want to see is another protest. So why wouldn't you start your negative article with a big honking picture of protest? We know we got to give the consumer that negative image to see right off the bat, because everyone in this country, no matter what, is sick of protesting. How will they start off this article? I could only imagine. The bad guys are winning. Let's dissect that quickly. If you believe in a different type of medical intervention than they're trying to push on you, you are a bad guy, according to them. According to the people who just said they don't care if you go to the ICU and croak. According to them, we, the bad guys, are winning. That stark assessment about the growing power and influence of the nasty anti-vaxxer mafia should deeply worry everyone who cares about the health of Canadians. Because we know that logic makes so much sense that if you take something to protect you, it's not going to kick in and work unless the person beside you takes it, right? That makes so much sense. Indeed, the anti-jab movement is still on the rise almost 4 years after COVID first reached Canada, and we can't just keep hoping it will fade away. Out of sight, out of mainstream media, the anti-jab crowd, once considered a fringe element in Canadian society, has become a major player in opposing vaccine mandates and government intervention, in spreading misinformation and conspiracy theories, and raising money for conservative politicians. Do you see what they're doing here? They are attaching this to oppositional political views. So, we talk about who controls legacy media, who fills the pockets up to keep this monstrous machine in control against the people. They're trying to say now that anyone who feels this way is because of conservative politicians. So demoralize your political competition. Take them down, because it's not okay to have oppositional political views. You see where we're going with this mass propaganda, fifth generation information warfare, and trying to program and control the mass population. They have also tapped into the despair of many Canadians impacted by sky-high mortgage rates, rising food prices, and a general feeling that politicians don't really care about their welfare. I wonder why Canadians would feel that type of way. It's almost like they didn't listen to them for years, so everybody had to get together after they lost their jobs, after they lost family members, after kids were interrupted in class, and they had to go do something like a peaceful, lawful protest where they were met with absolute tyranny and brute force, along with a side of police brutality. In short, the anti-vax movement has evolved into a potent political force. They've done it by becoming good at spreading their voices on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and other social media sites, convincing more and more parents against immunizing their children. I wonder why so many of us care about other people's children. Is it like maybe we're worried about cause and effect? Is it like maybe we don't want to see something bad happen to other people's children? Could that potentially be the reason why? Their impact is obvious. Jab rates are falling, and there's a small but growing hesitancy to get children jabbed against diseases such as smallpox, polio, and measles. In Ontario, the latest figures indicate that so far this year, only 13% of 1.8 million eligible residents and barely 40% of seniors have received the updated jab. What can be done to counter this movement? I've given up on the notion that facts will change an anti-vaxxer's mind. Instead, governments, health agencies, and professional groups must take a lead in an all-out battle against anti-vaxxer propaganda and misinformation with renewed, strong public health messaging. It's almost like they tell you what's going to happen. It's almost like they think we don't remember when one person who was a chief medical officer of health was in charge of what was going on for 500,000 residents in Niagara. Unbelievable. It was Peter Hotez, Dean of the National School of Tropical Medicine at Baylor College of Medicine in Texas, who warned about the bad guys, cautioning that they are winning, in part because of health agencies either underestimating or deny the reach of anti-science forces and are ill-equipped to counter it. It's a warning Canadians as well as Americans must take to heart, because if we don't take it serious, then the anti-vax movement will recruit more people. Its base will expand and public confidence in vaccines will erode more than it has already, writes Bob Heerburn. I don't understand how much more of this anti-vax movement will recruit more people they can get away with. We already know that there's no movement. This is just how the general public feels. And people who are doing the government's bidding are trying to influence the minds in the masses still, and are being incredibly unsuccessful because people are finally seeing what's being done. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this.